Hey, good morning. This is Julie, and I'm over here at the Goodwill Garden, and I was going to talk a little bit about the compost, how we do it here on site. So this is basically a windrow pile, and so what happens is it has an end and a beginning. This pile is getting ready to be all put away and tucked into this box, and we're going to let it age for a while. But in the meantime, I'm still adding to the front end of this pile. And so we have a number of resources here on site that we can use. So there's people that bring their food waste. There's a culinary institute up here on the old barracks that were Fort Ord. And we get their food waste, and we get some of the gardeners bring their materials as well so that we can compost it. I also have gone through and picked up a lot of green waste that came out of some of the garden beds so that we can add it to our pile in different layers. We have a blessing here in that we have several rabbit owners come and bring us their rabbit manure in these bags. And so we'll be putting all these layers down together, and I'll show you how we do that. Compost pile needs a couple of things to really help it work. Of course, it needs water and it needs air, but the other thing that it needs is it needs nitrogen and carbon. And the mix between those two things is what gives the bacteria the start to build the heat in this pile. So when we say carbon and nitrogen, the easier way to say it is browns and greens. Just think of it as maybe dried leafy material is going to be your brown. A green would be something that was freshly cut up, that was living not too long ago. And of course, food waste is generally considered a green. And so if I build these layers 30 inches apart and just keep putting the different layers together, I will essentially be putting carbon and nitrogen in contact together and giving it the start that it needs. So the first thing I want to do is start chopping up this material because I need it in smaller bits that'll break down faster. So some of these materials I'm going to layer up on top. Like this. And I'm not going to get any deeper than maybe 3 to 4 inches. I'm not going to overwhelm this pile. And I mostly have green materials here, but we could layer green and brown. Brown being the drier things. And so I'll just use this tool here to just break it up a little bit. So I'm going to get started with the food part. I'm going to take a load like this, and I'm going to put it in the middle. So you're probably wondering what you can't put into a compost pile. For the most part, what we use here are a lot of the greens and waste products that came out of people's garden beds. Some examples of things I wouldn't want in this pile would be anything that had a sick plant that had a pathogen. I would not want to put it in here. Even though I get the temperature up pretty high, I want to make sure that when people use this compost, it doesn't infect anybody's beds. Another thing I don't want to put in here would be weeds with seeds. Same reason, if I don't have enough sustained heat, everyone's going to end up with foxtails growing up out of their bed. So the last thing that the pile needs is a little bit of water. It's one of the things that's Very important to get the bacteria started here. Because the food was very, very wet, it does have some moisture in it, and rabbit manure is still a little bit damp. But if you're using drier materials like newspaper or cardboard, you definitely want to be able to make sure that everything feels like a wrung out sponge as far as wetness goes. So I've got all my layers built, and we did a very good watering in here. The last thing I want to do is cap off the pile. And so what I have is the oldest part of the pile here. Most of the compost is just about finished, but all the good microbes are in it. And so I'm going to take that and just cap off the top of this pile. So currently, this is the older part of the pile, and it's still pretty warm. It's at about 100 degrees. But this newer part, if I were to put this in here, you can see it's quite a bit hotter. I've been building in place for a while in this spot, and we're climbing up past 120 in no time at all. You're probably wondering, well, I don't have enough room in my yard to build a pile this big. The method that I'm showing with the layering can be used in any home compost pile. The big one is that you need a minimum of a 3 by 3 by 3 area. It needs to be a cubic 3 feet to really get that spark started in there and get the heat